For more than 100 years, nobody in the village of Nandala was allowed to go near the lake after sunset. Not because the water was dangerous, because of what appeared on it. Whenever the full moon rose over Lake Nandala, villagers sometimes saw a woman standing on the surface of the water. She wore a silver dress. Her hair floated behind her even when there was no wind. And according to the elders, anyone who heard her singing was never the same again. The villagers called her the Moon Bride, but nobody knew her real name. Until one night, a young fisherman named Kato saw her. Kato was 17 and had spent his entire life fishing on Lake Nandala. He knew every part of the lake, the shallow waters, the hidden rocks, the places where fish gathered. But his father had always warned him about one thing: never fish after the moon reaches the middle of the sky. Kato had laughed whenever he heard it, until the night his family had nothing left to eat. His father had been sick for weeks, and the family's fishing nets had torn. So Kato secretly took his father's smallest canoe and paddled onto the lake. The night was strangely quiet. No frogs, no insects, not even the usual sound of the wind. Kato lowered his fishing net. Then he heard singing. A woman's voice, soft, beautiful, coming from the middle of the lake. Kato stopped paddling. The singing grew louder. Then the moon appeared from behind a cloud, and Kato saw her. A woman stood on the surface of the water. She wore a long silver dress that shimmered beneath the moonlight. Her feet were completely dry. Kato's hands tightened around his paddle. The woman looked directly at him. "Why are you here?" Kato could barely speak. "I came to catch fish." She stared at him. "Then go home." "I can't." "Why?" "My family has no food." The woman was silent. Then she pointed toward the water. "Lower your net there." Kato looked down. He saw nothing. Still, he obeyed. He threw his net into the dark water. Seconds later, it became so heavy that his canoe nearly tipped over. Kato pulled. Inside the net were more fish than he had ever caught in one night. He looked up. The woman was gone. Only the moon remained. Kato returned home before sunrise. His family ate well that morning. But something strange happened. The next evening, when Kato returned to the lake, the woman was waiting. "You came back," Kato nodded. "You helped my family." "I helped you once." "Then why are you here?" She looked toward the far side of the lake. "Because someone is stealing from me." Kato frowned. "Stealing from you?" The woman pointed toward the village. "Your people are digging beneath the old shrine." Kato remembered something. For weeks, several strangers had been visiting the village. They claimed they were looking for rare stones beneath the lake. But Kato had noticed something strange. They never brought fishing equipment. They carried iron tools, and they always asked about the old shrine. "Who are they?" Kato asked. The Moon Bride's expression became serious. "I don't know. But if they find what lies beneath that shrine—" She stopped. Kato waited. "What?" "The lake will no longer belong to your people." The next morning, Kato went to the shrine. He found 3 strangers digging around its stone foundation. He hid behind a tree and listened. One man whispered, "Once we find the stone, the lake will dry within 3 days." Kato's eyes widened. He ran, but one of the men saw him. "Hey!" Kato sprinted through the forest. The men chased him. He reached the village and warned the elders, but nobody believed him. The village chief shook his head. "3 strangers cannot dry a lake." Kato shouted, "They are looking for something beneath the shrine." The chief's expression changed. Before he could answer, a deep sound came from the direction of the lake. The ground trembled. Then, another sound. The villagers ran outside. The water of Lake Nandala had begun moving backward. not like a normal wave. The entire lake seemed to be pulling away from the shore. People screamed. The chief grabbed Kato. "What did you see?" Kato pointed toward the shrine. "They found something." The villagers rushed there, but the strangers were gone. In the center of the shrine was a huge hole. At the bottom lay an ancient stone chest. It was open, and inside was nothing. That night, the moon bride appeared again, but this time she wasn't standing peacefully on the water. She was crying. Kato approached the lake. "What did they take?" She looked at him. "My heart." Kato froze. The woman touched her chest. "The stone they removed was keeping me here." "Who are you?" For the first time, she gave him her name. "Nandala." Kato stared at her. "The lake is named after you?" She nodded. "I was the daughter of the first chief of this land. Many generations ago, men came searching for the treasure beneath the lake. My father refused to give it to them. They attacked our village." Nandala looked toward the dark water. "I died protecting the lake. After my death, the lake became my home." Kato finally understood. The moon bride wasn't trying to harm the village. She had been protecting it. Then a loud horn sounded from the forest. The strangers had returned. This time, they brought many men. Their leader held a glowing stone. Kato recognized it immediately, the missing stone from the shrine. The leader smiled. "By tomorrow morning, this lake will be ours." Nandala looked at Kato. "There is one way to stop them." "What?" "Return the stone." "How?" "The man carrying it must willingly place it back beneath the shrine." Kato looked at the men. "Why would he do that?" Nandala smiled sadly. "He won't." Kato looked confused. "Then who will?" She pointed toward the village. "The person who has the most to lose." Kato suddenly understood. The village chief. He ran back. But when he reached the village, he discovered something shocking. The chief was gone, and beside his empty chair was a note. "I have taken the stone." Kato's heart sank. The chief had betrayed them. But why? Kato returned to the lake. Nandala was waiting. "The chief took the stone." "I know." "Then we're finished." "No." She looked toward the horizon. "Your chief did not take the stone for himself." Kato stared at her. "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, the lake suddenly became completely still. Then the chief appeared on the opposite shore. He was holding the stone. The strangers surrounded him. Their leader shouted, "Give it to us." The chief refused. "You promised to protect my village." The leader laughed. "We promised you wealth, not protection." The chief looked toward Lake Nandala. Then he raised the stone above his head. "I would rather lose my position than lose my people." He threw the stone into the shrine. A deafening sound shook the entire lake. Water rose high into the air. The strangers were forced backward. The moonlight turned silver, and Nandala appeared above the lake. For a moment, the entire village saw her. She looked at the people on the shore. Then she smiled. "Your ancestors protected me. Tonight, you protected the lake." The water returned to its place. The strangers fled into the forest. By morning, Lake Nandala was calm again. Kato searched for the moon bride. She was gone. But every full moon afterward, villagers claimed they could see a silver figure walking across the surface of the lake. And sometimes, if the night was perfectly quiet, they could hear a woman singing. Not a song of sorrow, a song of gratitude. And from that generation onward, the people of Nandala never again treated the lake as ordinary water. They called it what the elders had always called it, a place where the past still remembers. And if you ever visit Lake Nandala on a night when the moon is full, don't be surprised if you see a woman standing on the water. Just don't call her a ghost, because the people of Nandala believe she is still watching over